Okay, so here's the pitch. It's Kill Bill meets Groundhog Day. Huh? Huh? On Film Threat Reviews. I'm Alan Ng. I'm Zorianna Kit, and today we review Boss Level, now on Hulu. A retired Special Forces officer is trapped in a never-ending time loop on the day of his death. Directed by Joe Carnahan. We all know Joe. Stars Frank Grillo, Mel Gibson, Naomi Watts, Will Sasso, and Michelle Yeoh. Boss Level. What did you think of Boss Level? I don't want to quite give it away just yet.
It was it was just a really fun movie. It's, honestly, I kind of forgot about it after I finished watching it, but the romp while I was watching it was very entertaining. It's funny, Groundhog Day, it's like that's its own genre now, right? Like anything that revolves a repetition of some sort of, time loop, or like Palm Springs, or that's the most recent one I could think of. I mean, it's always going to be like Groundhog Day meets whatever. So this is Groundhog Day on steroids, essentially. And Frank Grillo, I've seen him over the years. He's always working. He's always solid, but he's never had a vehicle for himself truly, like, to showcase his abilities. And I this is it. This is it's all him. And it's not like he's Jason Statham or Vin Diesel, who are the current action heroes now, but he's good at this. Like he does his own fights, and he's got like a lot of charm. He's good looking, and without giving too much away, it was just really fun to watch this movie. Mel Gibson has a cameo, glorified cameo. I wouldn't call it a Mel Gibson movie, like you told me before. You're like, oh, do you want to watch this Mel Gibson?
Well, he's on the poster.
Well, so was Naomi Watts, and she's barely in this movie too. But anyways, it's more of a guy's movie for sure. So Alan, you tell me what you thought.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a movie like this for a very long time. I mean, this is an action movie in every sense of the word action. It's got everything: hand-to-hand combat, sword fighting, beheadings. I mean, people lose their heads many times in this movie. There's gunplay, explosions, car chases, a helicopter chase. I haven't seen a movie with this much action that I didn't roll my eyes at since since the ongoing Fast and Furious series. It's just, you mentioned it's fun. It's just downright fun. And the thing is, what I appreciate most about it is action films. When you make an action film, when it comes to story, you can be lazy about it, and you can get away with it as long as the action pieces are there and they're awesome and great. You can tell a very weak story, but this story, takes this Groundhog Day idea and splinters it off in many ways, which may sound weird, but when you watch the movie, you're gonna understand exactly what I mean. And it does it in such a smart way that even the most minor thing that happens to him in the main timeline pays off somewhere else in the movie, and ultimately pays off at the end. And I just really enjoyed this movie. It's definitely one that I would see over and over again.
Well, the basic conceit of this film is that he wakes up every day with someone attacking him to kill him.
Yeah, immediately. He opens his eyes and someone's trying to kill him in bed.
Yes. And so, and he tends to die at the same time every day. And so what makes this movie interesting is that he needs to get down to the bottom of why he's being killed, by whom, for what reasons, and all that sort of stuff. And so he tries to push himself further every day to get past that particular time frame of where he dies. And when he does, he gains these new nuggets of information that he uses to his advantage when he dies and starts over again. So eventually, when he gets up every morning to someone trying to kill him, he now has a little bit more information, or he's met someone that taught him a skill that he's using in the next iteration of his life. And it's really interesting because you'll meet someone that you think is like, you'll meet a character that is so innocuous or you think is inconsequential, and then further, when he moves himself further into the timeline, you actually see that person actually contributes something differently and actually has a storyline that you didn't think they ever did, other than being like some extra in this movie. But all of a sudden they have a speaking line, or all of a sudden they have a little bigger part here. So I thought that was really interesting. And also, everyone here looks like they're having so much fun. Yeah. Everyone is having a blast. And there is something slightly blasé and slightly nonchalant about Frank Grillo as he's, he knows he's going to be beheaded for the upteenth time. And I think that nonchalantness or that blaséness kind of adds to his charm. Like if he gets a piece of information that he can't wait to use to further himself in the timeline, he has no qualms about like pulling the trigger on his own life and dying early just so he can wake up. Like, because that just means the sooner he dies, the sooner he can wake up and like take two on this thing that he needs to learn to get himself further. So it's very entertaining.
Yeah. I don't think I'm spoiling anything here, but in these time loop movies, there's a point where the protagonist meets the dead end, where it's like, well, I solved everything. Why is this not stopping? And to me, that was just really the way it's handled here is just so brilliant. Because you really feel for him at that point of like, wow, he really is stuck. And it's this idea of, I have no idea what's next now. That's exactly what you want from a thriller, is you never want to be ahead of the game. And in this one, you rarely are. You're rarely at this point where you can figure it out and understand what's going on. You understand the global idea of what he has to do and what's going on and who is the cause of it, his wife and Naomi Watts. Again, just the fact that I was always guessing makes this such a good movie as well.
Yeah, agreed. It's been a while since we've had a really good, entertaining action movie. This is something that I would have gone to the movie theaters to see as well, because it kind of deserves that big screen treatment. Joe Carnahan, the filmmaker here, he does have a style. Like, he's done more serious films. Narc was fantastic. He did The Gray with Liam Neeson, but then he did something super actiony, the A-Team, and I think Frank Grillo actually was in that Liam Neeson movie. I don't know if it was called Wolf or The Gray. I think it was called The Gray or something like that.
Yeah, The Gray.
So these two have worked together before, but there is a chemistry here. I really do like this, whatever this is. And I wouldn't mind seeing more of Frank Grillo doing this kind of stuff. I rather enjoyed watching. He had definitely had on-screen presence for sure.
Yeah, and I think there's also it's a little different from what you expect from Carnahan. This is much more lighter, even compared to the A-Team. This is a much lighter film, and again, that just adds to the fun of it. And I think that's the real appeal here. You're just going to go in, have a lot of fun with it, and enjoy the ride.
And by the way, this film, as violent as it is, and as we talked about beheadings and all that sort of stuff.
It's cartoon violence. It is cartoon violence.
Well, yes, right. So it's not unwatchable violence. Like, if you're averse to seeing certain deaths, it's not like there's blood everywhere, and it's not gruesome. Like, there's a video game quality to it, like you said.
Yeah, I was going to say that the title of the movie, tips it off, boss level, because it does feel like a video game, where you're replaying the same scene over again in order to get to the boss level, and then you realize, well, that was a sub boss, that was one of his henchmen. No, you got to really go for the boss. And then when he finally gets to the boss, you realize there's a little bit more to it than that. I was going to also mention, Mel Gibson. I'm always leery about cameo roles, especially when you have an A-lister or a former A-lister who's now doing these cameo things. I thought he was pretty good. He has this villain role down, and I think for some reason we tend to believe him as a villain nowadays. So he's got that down, and it just works.
Well, they did get surprisingly. It's really well cast. I mean, you get these cameos. You've got Naomi Watts. The Oscar-nominated actress for many things. She's in this. You've got Mel Gibson. You have Michelle Yeoh. You've got Ken Jeong. But
Will Sasso. I just mentioned Will because I've always known Will Sasso from Mad TV and various other comedies. And as crazy as this movie is, he's pretty badass in this. And I really liked his character a lot as well. And it's not a comedic role, so to speak.
But what's interesting is that for most of these actors, the environments that they're in are it's like a single environment. Like we don't really see Mel Gibson outside of the office setting that in the building. We don't see Naomi Watts really outside of this science lab or whatever that she's in. Like Michelle Yeoh is maybe like she's in a cafe, but then she's also, teaching, doing some fight moves. So I feel like getting these A-listers was also it was easy for them to say yes to because it probably didn't involve a very big time commitment, and it was all pretty much in the same setting that they didn't have to show up to different locations on a daily basis. So I think
they got to do something fun.
Yes.
Michelle Yeoh, I'm sure, must have loved this role.
She was so great. And again, what this movie keeps you guessing because the people that you meet, you don't know if when you meet them that's it and you're not going to see them again. And then when some of them do have expanded roles in further timelines, you're like, oh my gosh, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. All right. So you had fun with it. You enjoyed it a lot. You have a newfound respect for Frank Grillo as a lead actor. So an 8. I'm going to say you gave it an 8.
Yeah, to me, a nice, good, solid movie that you feel like you could sit through and recommend. That's an 8. And this is that movie. Really, it is. I wouldn't say this movie was not made for somebody like me. I'm not the target audience, but once it started, a lot of it has to do with Frank Grillo's charm, and I'm looking forward to see him do more of this kind of stuff. And if him and Joe Carnahan want to reteam again, by all means, I'm there.
Yeah.
I think that you like this film. I think you liked it even more than I did. I think you gave it an 8.5.
Yeah, I gave it an 8.5. I mean, with everything that's gone on in the world, it's finally time we had a real action movie come out. And I love the fact that I can't stand the Fast and Furious series. And action. This is just pure action, and that's all it is. It's literally one of those films that I will watch again, have it running in the background, just because it's just that much fun, and I think you'll find the fun in it too. And Frank Grillo, I've seen him always in supporting roles.
Yeah,
he's finally a lead actor. I think he could become
a lead at 55. You know what?
Yeah,
you wait long enough, you hang in there long enough.
Yeah, so I have 2 years to go. Then I could be an action hero. Right.
I look forward to that, Alan. I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, if Liam Neeson and Frank Grillo can do it, why not?
Yes, there you go.
Right.
Exactly.
All right. So with that, be sure to like, subscribe, comment below. Go see it's on Hulu. So there's no excuse not to see it. Let us know what you thought. And with that, let's get out of here.